play right, cause they can't miss. All about the game, that's a cold switch. Serving up the truth, call it ruthless. Tune in and get your fix from Blake and Vish Sports.
Super Bowl predictions. Blake, who do you have in the Super Bowl? Who do you think is going to win?
I don't like having repeat teams, but I do have the Buccaneers there just because that talent is so good. Although I do have the Packers very close second. I have those two teams facing off in the NFC Championship again. Just because I think this last dance thing with the Packers is a good thing. I really do that they're all embracing it. Although I don't know if you saw this, but they were all on Instagram like posting what players they would be from the Bulls team. And I want to say Bobby Tonyan posted Dennis Rodman, or maybe it was Aaron Jones or someone like that posted Dennis Rodman. And I was not, I don't know. I didn't like that. But Devontae and Rodgers are Jordan and Pippen. You can book that, Vish. So I took Buccaneers. And then I'm taking the Bills out of the AFC. I really like this team. I think Josh Allen, people are not realizing how special he was last year. And I slept on him hard. I didn't think he was going to be this good when he originally came out, and he proved me wrong. And last year he was, I would say, the third best quarterback performance-wise. And I think he'll take them there, especially with Diggs too. Like, him and Diggs just have the best connection. So I'm going Bills and Buccaneers as my Super Bowl teams. And then I'm just going to take the Bills. It's really hard to repeat. I know the Buccaneers they do have a better roster, but it is so hard to repeat. You saw it with the Chiefs this past year. They got absolutely destroyed, and you've seen it in the past as well. So it is very hard to repeat. So I'm going Bills, Buccaneers, with the Bills winning.
So with the new playoff format, with only one team getting a bye in the 17 games, I don't think a single of the five of a non-division winner has a chance of winning 3 games in a row and going to the playoffs that way. So for me, that rules out San Francisco, Seattle, Minnesota immediately, and Baltimore, New England, and the Broncos immediately. The Giants, no way they're going to the Super Bowl. That rules them out. The Titans, I think their defense would get exposed, which leaves me with Tampa Bay, Green Bay, the Rams, and Browns, Bills, Chiefs. I don't think the Rams are capable of winning 2 road playoff games, especially one in Lambeau and one in Tampa Bay. So that rules them out because I just think they have issues with depth in their roster. The Chiefs, so now I'm left basically with 5 teams. I think Tampa Bay is going to represent the NFC. I know Green Bay came close to them last year. I think Tampa Bay is just going to be a more confident team this year. I think they had so much talent last year, and they were never able to realize. They were never able to get the confidence they would have had. I think they're going to be confident this season. It's going to be a little bit like the 15-1 Packers. You remember that, and the Chiefs from last year, they're just going to come in and they're going to roll every team. I think that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to pick Tampa Bay to repeat going to the Super Bowl. And then out of the AFC, right, I think it could be one of those 3 teams, Browns, Chiefs, or Bills. I've been saying it since March, and I'm just going to continue with it for the sake of continuity. I think the Cleveland Browns are going to go to the Super Bowl and represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Yes, I think they're going to be able to get through the Chiefs or one of the Chiefs or the Bills, depending on who they play. Which leaves me at my Super Bowl prediction being Browns versus Tampa Bay. And I'm going to say the Bowl, Cleveland. This is for you.
Okay.
I think Baker Mayfield, the Cleveland Browns, I think they have the best roster in the NFL, and I think they win the Super Bowl.
Interesting. I like the Browns. I could see them AFC Championship. I could see them Super Bowl. My only thing in reservation with them is I just think that Allen and I think Mahomes are just on a completely another level than Baker. And for that reason, I just not trust them as much as I do.
But the thing is, for me, to win road playoff games still, you got to be able to run the football. You have to be able to close games running the football. And both of those teams cannot run the football. And that's so important to me.
The Chiefs, I guess they haven't really had many road games. But, I mean, they haven't had to run much. Or they haven't been the best at running, the Chiefs. But they still do fine. Although they are, don't get me wrong, the Bills are definitely the worst running team out of those. Like, I get that.
They're one of the worst running
teams.
And
they're a lot worse than the Chiefs. Yeah, but Josh Allen's running, I think, also adds a lot for them because that man does it all.
Agreed, but to me, they also struggle stopping the run. They don't have the biggest defensive line, and to me, those are the two things. If you can't stop the run, if you can't run the football, I mean, we saw Baltimore had the Bills really dead to rights in that football game. They really
They
it
did.
wasn't the Baltimore played them really well. And so I mean, we'll see. I mean, Baker is not Goff 2.0. He's got a better arm, stronger arm. He makes better decisions. He's quicker release. He's more accurate. He has better ball placement. He's better. He's better under pressure. He's more athletic under pressure. I mean, Mayfield is probably the best. Is closer to the Tannehill Cousins in this offense. That's the tier he's in. He's not in the Jimmy Goff tier. That's my personal feeling. And real quick, there was one more thing I wanted to touch on. I 100% agree with this. This game is going to be insane.
Yeah, that'll be a really, really good game. I mean, that game, I know it wasn't that close, but I don't know. I think the Bills will come back. And I will say this, they did not impress me the most this past postseason. Like their games, like didn't, all right, I won't say they didn't impress me, but their games were really close. That Colts game was very, very close. Same with the Ravens game too. And then they obviously didn't look the best against the Chiefs. They lost by 2 touchdowns, but I don't know, man. I still think they'll make
the Colts game could have gone real differently if Philip Rivers wasn't the quarterback of the Colts. That's all I gotta say. And in regards to how did he do against the 49ers in 2019, well, I don't know how many quarterbacks are going to do with Greg Robinson starting as their left tackle, trying to block Nick Bosa, and Freddie Kitchens calling their plays, going up against the best defense in the NFL. That's all I got to say. I mean, I'm not like a Baker fan by any means, but man, I think that's an unfair thing to expect Baker Mayfield, to be doing anything in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think for me, and I think for you too, I think there's 5 teams, or I have like a clear top 5 teams, and that is the Chiefs, Bills, Browns, and then Buccaneers, Packers. Like those are my top 5.
I wouldn't even put the Packers there to me.
You don't think so?
I think their defensive line is still a question mark in terms of their interior defensive line and their power there, and I still have questions about their linebackers. And so I don't think they would be able to beat either of these 4 teams. But to me, right now, as we stand it, Bills, Chiefs, Buccaneers, Browns, those 4 teams are just a cut above everybody else if you're just looking on rosters on paper.
Interesting. I mean, I'm still putting them up there. I still have them in my tier 1 for teams. You may not, but I'm sure you have them. You're probably one of the top teams in the next year.
They're right there. Yeah. To me, the Packers are just missing the little bit extra juice of talent that these other teams have. What the Packers have is unbelievable execution. They have a great scheme with LaFleur. Rodgers executes as well as anybody. They have precision. I just don't, when it comes down to it, they have a great offensive line, but when it comes down to it, you need one guy to just go make a play that is not available in the scheme. Who's going to make that play for the Packers if Aaron Rodgers doesn't make it? Who's going to make it on defense?
Jair.
Maybe. But Zadarius Smith is a hell of a pass rusher. But I feel like a guy like a Shaq Barrett is more capable of making that one game-changing play in a big game than a Zadarius Smith because he's just more explosive than him.
We need Rashawn Gary to I think he's going to get more playing time this year, and I think he's getting slept on right now, but he would be the one guy that his athletic profile is off the charts, and he's improved every year, and he could be that guy that steps up and plays great. But yeah, and then don't forget too, now that Pettin's gone, we no longer have Preston Smith at the cornerback position, so that is big time.
No, but I do think Green Bay is going to be really good. Every year with Aaron Rodgers, you're really good. I mean, what do you have to complain about?
Championships in a row. That I think they have to be in that first tier, at least for me. And it could be homerism or bias or whatever, but I'm still putting them up there as being one of the final 4 teams.
Yeah, I'm putting the Niners up there too.
That is true. You could have them there.
I think they could. Honestly, the big question mark with the Niners is a quarterback situation. We could be sitting here week 8 and being yeah, the Niners are probably the best team in the NFL. But how are we supposed to do that right now when we just don't know what's going to happen with their quarterback situation.
Trey Lance is such an unknown, like legitimately such an unknown that it's like, I think we've both said it. Like we could see them going like 13-4 just because like they have a very, maybe not very similar, but they have a lot of the key guys from 2019 still here. And then plus they've gotten better in certain ways. So it's like you could realistically see them returning back to that. And if Trey Lance is as good as a number 3 overall pick, that's a step and a half above Jimmy. So like you can see why you'd have them there, you know?
100%. I mean, just think about the run game with Trey Lance. I keep going back to that. That's what I want to see. I don't even know if we're going to be able to see it week 1 now because he's got that chip finger injury.
They should have just kept him outside the pocket.
No, but really, thank you guys, everybody, for spending this much time with us. Obviously,